I'm Sebastian Schieke, your host, business angel, investor, and mentor. Today, I have the pleasure talking to Dr. Nancy Gaines-Dillard, which is an amazing person. She runs a variety of businesses. Her passion is in hosting a show called Dr. Nancy Knows. She has her own broadcasting network. She runs an integrative medicine practice, and I'm sure we will touch on a lot of topics today around health, around mental health. This is one of her passions. I can't wait. Dr. Nancy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sebastian. It's such an honor to be a part of what it is that you're doing. And previously, we've had a couple of conversations, and it just felt like we had such alignment and synergy. And when you offered to have me on the show, I just couldn't resist. So thank you for having me on the show.
Thanks for being here. Yeah. As I said, we have a lot in common. I mean, one of your passions is really spreading the word and helping people, focusing on the good, helping people working around mental health and improving their well-being in your practice as a doctor, but also their mental well-being. And what brought you to this path? What was the initial situation, or how did you end up where you are right now?
That's an excellent question. I've always loved people, and yet, though, I always beat to my own drum and my own tune as well. So, I grew up in a household of individual supporters and relatives that poured into me, allowing me to believe that I could be and do anything in the world that I wanted to become. And so it began. I thought what I wanted to do was public relations and speaking all over the world and be this newscaster as I start graduate school. And I got 2.5 years into that major and started in front of the cameras, believe it or not, and I just didn't feel like it was a really great fit for me. So I do want to tell you, a long story short, 30 years later, I got my first passion. And so I will say to everyone out there that's listening, never give up on your dream and or your passion. And sometimes, you may not even think that it's what you want, but it comes full circle. So I went into medicine and I excelled, 26, 27 years into medicine. Again, it's people person, being a servant to individuals and advocating for individual people that needed healthcare and that they needed care. And so I actually worked for corporate America for 3/4 of my medical career. And I had this divine purpose and yearning to actually move across the country. So most of my life and career was on the East Coast in America, just outside of Philadelphia. One of my alumni is University of Penn on several degrees. But it was about 10 years ago, maybe 7 now, I had this opportunity to move across the country. And sometimes, that superpower, the universe will get you alone to do this great work in you. And although you're already, serving the public and you feel like that's really great work, and I felt really good about what I was doing, but there's more. And if you become obedient to the will and are faithful and just step outside that comfort zone, there's so much more waiting for you. I was able to open up my own practices, moving out here to Scottsdale, Arizona, and thrive in that arena, actually. I thrived in that arena, and then we had the great pandemic that happened. And initially when I transitioned out here, I was still in corporate America working emergency medicine trauma. I just transferred and started my own practice and business. And, as an entrepreneur, it's not always easy. And so you're, counting on that steady income from corporate America, and you decide, oh, wow, now everything that I earn is on my time.
Yeah.
One foot in the door and one foot out, right? And I made that full plunge. Scary, but very necessary. Critical to the success, not only for me, because it's a gift, and gifts are meant to be given away. And if you continue to walk in your journey, people like you, Sebastian, will come out of nowhere and say, hey, how may I help you along the journey? And that's what you have to believe in, right? So be the one that you want to be to change the world. And it's the ones like you, it's the ones like me. And when we come together, we can just be so much more impactful, right? And the story begins, it continues. I was able to thrive in my practice despite, what the world went through over the last 2.5 years. And in fact, I actually thrived in that area. And I helped out a lot of people. And it came full circle that I had an opportunity to have my own talk show, Dr. Nancy Knows, in its 3rd season now. And what the premise behind that was, because during that time, our country was just riddled with fear, depression, and anxiety. And Dr. Nancy Knows brought individuals that were experts in their field of industry on the show to talk about how they're impacting their community in a positive way and give a living testimony to say, hey, I triumphed over this, and if I did it, you can do it too.
Exactly.
And it was just really good, and I continue it to this day. So, I combine my medical efforts with living your best life now and advocating for individuals, bringing more awareness so that they can make informed decisions about their health care, right on to the media, again, having a voice, and now having my own media broadcasting network so that I can just spread the word even farther. So it's such a privilege. I humbly accept an assignment, and I'm so eternally grateful.
Great. I mean, you touched on a lot of important points, and I would like to focus on these 3 aspects: on your medicine practice, on your talk show, and on the podcast segments. I mean, it's all integrated. It all makes a lot of sense. Starting with your medicine practice, what I learned is you have a bit of different approach to the normal medicine, right? I mean, normal medicine, and there's a lot of interesting development going on in this industry. I'm following it a bit because I'm very interested in longevity and improving health before sickness appear, before it's too late. Yeah, because I mean, the traditional approach is more like, hey, you live, then you feel something a bit odd. You go to the doctor and they diagnose something and then they treat you. Yeah. The new approach, what I understand, or you're also practicing, is more like a approach where you improve your health before you start getting sick. You monitor, you have a certain regimen and a certain protocol you follow in order to extend the healthy life, not only treating symptoms. And I think this is such an important shift in a mindset. And this is what I would love to hear from you. What's your approach? How do you set this up? How do you help your patients?
Yeah, so the name of my medical practices is Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, and I practice traditional primary care medicine, but also holistic wellness, integrative medicine. So everything that a primary doctor, family doctor can do, I certainly do that too. However, allowing access and informing individuals on different ways to treat the same disorder, right? So if a person comes in and their blood sugars are elevated and they may be borderline diabetic, there's lifestyle modification, of course, diet and exercise, but then there's natural supplementation that you can take to control your blood sugars. So I live in the natural plant-based arena as well, and I give options, right? Again, the best informed decisions come from a well-informed patient or client. And I also offer IV vitamin drips, stem cell, ozone therapies. I do PRP, platelet-rich plasma. I do some aesthetics as well. And I have my own product line. So based on micronutrient testing and your DNA genomic testing, I can create a supplement that's specific to your deficiencies and drop ship it to you anywhere in the United States at this moment in time. So again, that's right, our world and the way the trend is going is that individuals want to stay on top of their health. So it's preventative care and it's anti-aging, it's restorative health. It's the new buzzword. It's not just anti-aging, but it's reversing the sign of aging. We want to lengthen those telomeres, right? Yeah. To reverse the sign of aging, not just, stop it in anti. But, we want a 50-year-old to look like a 40-year-old because of all of their health practices that they are taking part in on to be proactive and stay ahead of any disease, free radicals, oxidative stressors, in the way that our lifestyle goes. So I'm here to assist that type of client, right? And it's mindset. And if that person is ready to make those necessary changes to complement their lifestyle, I'm that doctor for them.
how many people did it reach yet? Yeah, because often I think we live in a kind of a bubble, we see our own world, we see, okay, this is so important and we need to treat aging as a disease and we need to change our lifestyle and so on. But I sometimes have the feeling that this is just a very small percentage of the population, that most of the people, they drift through life, they take everything as a precondition, they don't challenge the status quo. Yeah, we as entrepreneurs, we say, no, we don't accept the status quo. We don't accept that we age. We don't accept that we will be sick when we are 60 or 70 and we have the last 10 years of our lives suffering and going from doctor to doctor. I don't accept this, But I believe that, unfortunately, many people, they do, they think, okay, there's no alternative, there's no option, that's just how it's meant to be. But I don't accept that it's meant to be, So there's a lot of education which is needed to be done, right, in this space.
That's exactly right. So if you're a true entrepreneur, you are a disruptor. And to answer your question with regard to that type of lifestyle, plant-based living, living to your highest potential, it really isn't as broad in terms of awareness as I would want it to. Wow. It can tend to be to the most affluent, the top individuals, top earners in the world, right? Because of the access and the knowledge that they have. Yeah. And I want to break that stigma. Although living a healthy lifestyle can also be a little bit expensive, right? But again, it's a mindset. It's you have to understand the basis behind living your best life, because I often say you're going to pay for one of two things: your health or your illness. And status quo is not something that I attest to very well at all, right? I don't believe everything that everybody says. And again, that takes me to like my broadcasting network, NGC Network. Okay. It is about reaching the masses on independent news, coming from a true entrepreneurial that is a disruptor that wants to give individuals not censored or watered down information and content. You're going to get the real deal. So with regard to access to care, healthcare, health equity, I have a couple of nonprofits. One is Family Matters Healthcare Foundation. So although my practices are cash pay, but we're always looking for donors and sponsors to sponsor the 503(c) Family Matters Healthcare Foundation, because it's my way of giving back and giving access to the type of healthcare or just the type of business practices, financial literacy, mental health and wellness. The focus is on community, family, right? So, it just really makes sense that, the universe, God, had to move me 3,000 miles away in order to do this great work in me, to continue on building the legacy, not just for me, but for many, many people that it's going to impact. So access is key. Awareness is key. Getting in front of, being the change that you wish to see, and changing the narrative on how people receive media and who it comes from is key.
I like your statement. You either pay for your wellness or for your sickness. This is so true. And yes, a healthy lifestyle is not cheap. I was traveling around the US a couple of years ago, and I learned that it's really difficult to get healthy food, There are only a few stores where you can get real salads, green stuff, healthy stuff, and comes with a price tag. And the majority of restaurants and food stores are not what both of us would like them to be, And so awareness and shifting this mindset from this paying for when you're sick and investing to investing beforehand is very important. So you run your show, Dr. Nancy Notes, where you interview other leaders, where you talk about entrepreneurship, where you talk about all these topics you mentioned, which are so important because they're not taught in school, They're not taught in normal education, So also they're so important. Often you only discover those topics when you already went through a challenge in life, Then your question is, okay, there must be more. And
let's be more.
And then you start thinking, okay, how does it work? This mind, which we have, this 100,000-year-old brain, which is not designed to make us happy, It's designed to help us getting away from these big dinosaurs and creatures that kill you. But those are not around anymore. But our brain is still wired to only detect the bad and detect the threat, and not wired to make us happy. So there's something we need to do intentionally, to focus on the positivity, positive things, focus on the good, and understand how it affects our body, the mind, body-mind connection, and so on. There's so many important topics, and which you cover in your show, and I think this show and other shows you broadcast then on your network, reaching millions of homes, in the United States, which is a great antidote to all this general news, the mainstream news, which are only there to make money by advertising, and giving you the things which we are dependent on negativity,
Yes.
So many people are so dependent, and they need to see dramas, This is what pulls them towards this TV, and an antidote is very important.
That's so true. Absolutely. Yeah. So energy is so important, and you're not really raised about energy, but you honestly know what feels good, and pouring into each other, uplifting one another, complimenting each other, sharing love and inspiring, providing hope. That's all free at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. I mean, the simplest things to life are free. And that's essential to just continue to let your light shine, because where lightness is, darkness has to flee. And you have to show up, be present each and every day. You touched on, Sebastian, being intentional, being purposeful, right? And not being distracted, right? And so a lot of people really aren't intentional, and maybe they don't know how to be, but you watch shows and follow individuals like yourself and myself, and you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, it will grow on you, because just look at the circle of 5 people that you are around. That'll give you a good indication of the type of person that you are.
You become, that's so true. And looking at the mainstream media, and I mean, I have a strict protocol that I limit my access to mainstream media quite a lot. I'm using tools which block certain websites on my computer, that I don't just have a quick look, and then get sucked into this madness which is going on. How does your broadcasting network work? I mean, what are the channels? Where can people see your shows?
And thank you. Excellent. So it's ngcnetworktv.com, and the channels are, there's a channel for kids, there's a channel for entrepreneurials, there's a channel for pet, there is a channel for the vibe, for positive news around the country, what's going on currently. There is a channel for alternative facts, right? So otherwise known as taboo TV, but I don't believe in conspiracy theories. You really, as an entrepreneur, you got to put the work in and do the research on your own to determine what's factual and what's not, and not always believe everything that you hear, and you've got to, look at the source from which it's coming from. So that's part of my legacy as well, right? So what do I want to leave behind? When is my service to this world done? And who's going to be talking about it, right? So when you tap into one of my shows or my network, hopefully it'll make you feel good. It'll empower you. You'll learn something from it, and you'll want to share it and tell someone else about it as well.
Coming back to your nonprofits and your medicine practice, what I learned, what is different from the US to many other countries in the world, it's your health system, your insurance system. And I know people who are educated, who are probably out of job at the moment, who don't have a health insurance, and what can they do when they need a doctor, are there one of your nonprofits, can they help those people to get medical service if they can't afford a health insurance, or if they're just not in the system for whatever reason they might have?
Yes. So Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, the medical practice, offers a number of services really at reasonable prices, because I understand the cost. And here in this country, we do have insurance where individuals go to the marketplace and they have these high deductibles, $5,000 to $7,000. They have to pay into the insurance before the insurance really takes over.
Well, okay.
So it really doesn't make sense. But I have packages together in my practice, like a health screening exam for male and or female comes with a physical examination and routine blood work. And it's relatively inexpensive, $250, right? And if a female wants GYN with the blood work, then it's $350 all day long. So I just shop around for the best prices for individuals that may have insurance, but still has to pay into that deductible, where they could just say, hey, I'll just get insurance that is for emergency, and then I'll pay out of pocket for some of the services that I just need, because, healthy individuals need blood work and a health physical exam once a year. And medical practices like mine can also do telemedicine. I'm licensed in 12 states. So if you get a sniffly cold or allergies or, a stomach ache, you can access me virally, and I can, just electronically send something to your pharmacy anywhere, really. And so there are many different ways that we could work with the individual, also through the nonprofit, because philanthropy is one of my loves of giving back as well. There's too many of us in this world that are selfish, and you're going to give so much more than you receive, and the more you give, actually, the better your life and quality of life is, actually. So Family Matters Healthcare Foundation does have small scholarships to help individuals that need access to care, young people that are out of high school and they're not sure what career they want to go into. They get to shadow the medical side of things, maybe even the media side of things. I work with entrepreneurs, and I have a network of entrepreneurs that are reciprocating, communicating, collaborating, circulating their dollars within, so that it's a new culture, it's a new ecosystem that I'm creating with the small entrepreneurs, business owners that get to leverage each other in that system as well. So there's many different ways. Entrepreneurs are creative. We think outside the box. Again, we're disruptors, right? And just because it's one way and everybody's doing it doesn't make it right or the right way. So there's options. There's always options.
That's correct. And you touched on a very important topic. You said, okay, giving more than you receive, which helps others, but it also helps you, because contribution is one of the 6 human needs which make you feel better, which make you happy. And a lot of people don't realize that contribution and growth are so important. In my experience working as a mentor and helping other entrepreneurs, when they come to me and they say, I'm not fulfilled, I'm not happy, those are most of the time the 2 things which are missing. They don't grow anymore. They just reach a plateau and take it as granted and accept the status quo. And they don't contribute, they don't give back. And by giving, you receive so much, helps you personally to improve your state and your well-being. Talking about medicine, and what are the 3 most important things everyone can do to improve their health and well-being? What is your view on that?
That's great. Great question. Quality of sleep is important. It's so important. It gives your body time to regenerate and recharge and recover. That's so important. Hydration, water, what you're drinking right now, water. Yeah. You need water for purification, to detoxify as well, right? So sleep, water, and then you need to meditate. You need your personal time, right? Because these givers are nurturing, and then they're tapped out. And when you're a giver and a nurturer, your light is like so bright, and it draws in individuals. And when you spend time with people, that's energy. And so you just need to take time for yourself as well. Ground yourself with nature. It's important.
Simple things, no? Everyone can do. Yeah, this is not rocket science. It's not difficult. It's like this statement: a doctor, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But often we don't eat this apple. Yeah, and sleep is something in our world of high achievers often very neglected. Yeah, they say, I don't need to sleep. I need 4 hours. I'm full of energy. I'm rock and rolling, and I got everything I need. But they don't see the point. Yeah, and they're burning out in the long run. And water is something which also has to be intentional. Yeah? I mean, there are days where I also forget to drink enough water, when I'm out with the kids, doing stuff. And then you start feeling thirsty and it's okay, when you feel thirsty, then it's already too late. Then you already don't have enough water. So this is a very important indicator if you drink enough or not, So never be thirsty, yeah?
When you're thirsty, it's a sign that you're dehydrated already.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yes. And then, of course, moving. So that grounding yourself with earth and nature, movement is so essential.
Yeah. So you're doing many things. What is on your horizon in the next couple of months? What is your goal for this year, so to speak, bringing your services, your ventures? What is the next level? What you are looking forward to achieve?
Thank you for asking. So the top of the year, I don't make resolutions, but I do plan, right, for each quarter as an entrepreneur, as a business person as well, and with the talk show, of course. I came up with a phrase this year, and it's a clearer view. That's my term for this year. With the medical practice, my campaign is living your best life now. So it doesn't matter at what age you are. I'm 54. So it doesn't matter at what age you are. If you're not skipping through life feeling your best life, then you need to come and see me, right? So I work with individuals that are more mature as well. And so hormonal imbalances can make a big difference in your quality of life as well. I specialize and I work with peptides for weight loss, peptides for performance recovery. They can help you with, the foggy brain or the individual executive that wants to, stay sharp. Of course, I offer those IV vitamin drips with NAD as well as another popular item to help keep synapsing, right, to be sharp. And so, Living Your Best Life campaign for the medical practice. Dr. Nancy knows we are, what Dr. Nancy knows, I anticipate continuing with this third season to have even greater interviews as well as the platform growing with NGC Network. Collaborating with some partnering networks as well, and getting lots of views. And so I associate viewership with awareness, expanding, right? I want to cast my net really wide and far to reach the masses, right? So say, hey, I'm here to inspire you, motivate you, love on you, provide hope. That's what Dr. Nancy Knows does. And then the NGC Network is a network that aligns with all things wellness. So everything has to do with the wholeness of a person and their health and well-being. And then with the business side of things, the entrepreneurial side of things, we're taking our show on the road to a city coming near you here in the United States. And our first stop is in LA. So I have a speaking engagement there just to bring more awareness to my enterprise, though, to the things that I'm doing. We're always looking for sponsors, advertisers, content creators. I'm also creating a healthcare forum within our small business network of alternative medical practices like chiropractic, Reiki therapy, sound bowls, acupuncture, Tai Chi, meditation, all of these different things, vibration, everything that really helps with bringing peace and wellness and wholesomeness to you, and that individual's going to have access to. And, if it's content that healthcare providers out there have, or even entrepreneurs such as yourself, Sebastian, that you have, and, it aligns with what we're doing with the NGC Network, we'd love to have the content up so that we share. Yeah. There's no competition. The only competition is within yourself. So I wake up grateful and to be better than I was the day before. And collectively, like I've said before, if you're the one to be the change in the world that you wish to see, and you're that one, collectively we come together. So why wouldn't we share the content? Why wouldn't we do that?
Amazing. Well, a one-stop shop for wellness, health, and happiness, yeah? Dr. Nancy, thank you so much for your time. It was such an inspiring conversation, and I'm sure the listeners will take a lot of valuable insights and maybe start thinking about shifting their mindset around health and not saving to pay for sickness, spending the money now to have an amazing life and an amazing aging process. Thank you so much. We will put your contact details in the show notes. People can find your LinkedIn on the internet everywhere. And yeah, I will follow your great work and wish you all the best, Nancy.
Likewise, Sebastian, thank you for having me on this show. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.